Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
You're on. Give me a check.
Check.
Good. Isn't it birds?
Birds. Right.
These marriages are not perfect, but all in all, they seem to work. Marriage is an institution for grown-ups.
It's like a love-hate relationship.
There are no bosses in a modern marriage. He knows he's lucky to have a wife.
Hello everybody, it's episode 27 of Husband and Wife Sentenced to Life. Isolation Diaries, Day 2.
Day 2, yeah.
So we're talking about Day 2. So this is, it's the morning now, it's everything that happened yesterday. Simon and Laura here, thanks for all your feedbacks on the pictures and everything. A lot going on my Twitter, a lot going on my Instagram. Are you posting anything?
I didn't yesterday, but I did the day before. I will, I'll get on it.
I'm starting a little fold. You know, you can have highlights on your Instagram from your stories.
Yeah.
I've started a little Isolation Diaries highlights, so you can see what we've been posting.
Good idea.
At Catboy92 or at Laura Not Laura. Check the description for details. So let's have a run through it yesterday then.
Go on.
First of all, weather.
Well, we seem to have brought the nice weather with us.
Isn't it weird? You hear people from England talking about the weather, and they seem to be moaning every day of the year. There's not often when people aren't moaning.
It's funny because I have tried to drum into Leo. Right now, this weather is really nice.
You're trying to say to him, don't get used to this.
Yeah, exactly that. Because the trouble is, normally when we come to UK, it's summertime or it's Christmas.
To extremities.
Yeah, but when it's Christmas, you're feeling the cold and you're like...
You want it to be cold.
Yeah. I think what he's not experienced is when your windows are frosted up and when you're cycling and you're wet and you're soaking and your fingers hurt because they're so cold.
We were just out in the garden and I said to him, you know, as much as you moan about the rain, I said sometimes, because he's never done this, he's lived such a sheltered life in Dubai, I said, there's going to be times when you're in the middle of Bristol, maybe alone, maybe with your friends, and it is going to start raining. And you're going to dash into a cafe, or you're going to dash into a shop, or you're going to dash into a pub for a pint, and that's going to be the most exciting thing in the world for him, because he's never done it.
Yeah, but I reckon that novelty will wear off.
Perhaps. Now, we talked yesterday about day 1, getting up in the morning. We sounded like the old one-man bands, the guy with the cymbals on his knees and a bass drum on his back and a kazoo in his mouth, and we all tried to get up quietly.
But it wasn't successful.
Like dropping a piano downstairs.
Yeah.
I would say yesterday morning, ninja technique. I'm talking you and I, because we got up before everybody else.
And the dogs...
The dogs were quiet.
I think they've started to get used to us.
I give them the Crocodile Dundee. Remember in Crocodile Dundee when he calmed... What would it? I don't know if it was a rhinoceros or some mad animal. He did that thing with his fingers.
Right. You've not got a sausage in your pocket.
Not today. I give the dogs a look.
Do you?
And it's a, don't f*** me around. If you bark, it's not me you're upsetting. It's your owners you're upsetting. Just don't f*** me around.
Right.
And they've got it. Betsy Pearl started doing some homework yesterday morning, even though it's a weekend day.
Well, yeah, she was catching up from the flight day.
Yeah. So she was doing Anglo Saxons.
Yeah.
And in comes your mum, Gayle, who I used to talk about quite regularly on the radio. She comes in. I'm starting to think your mum is one of England's Premier League bullshitters. And I'll tell you for why.
I'll tell you for why.
We've had the ghost story about the floating pipe, right? Which I'm not going to recount now because we don't have time. But she basically swears that she once had a poltergeist floating a cigar or a pipe in front of her.
True story.
She's persuaded the kids that she's got a relative who were on Titanic, that were all related to somebody on Titanic.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. William Miltram.
Yeah. Hard
Google
to
him.
prove.
Google him. Murderer.
Obviously, we're in Southampton. We're near Southampton. Titanic set off from here. Good story.
Yeah.
I take it with a pinch of salt because...
My mum said it.
And she were bullshitting about the ghost. Yesterday,
Yeah.
Betsy's doing Anglo Saxons.
Yeah.
She's talking about the Angles and the Saxons.
And the Jutes.
Yeah, the Jutes. In comes your mum. Do you know we're related to a Viking?
No.
And she
right.
gets this picture of this Viking up who looks like The ginger-haired bloke off Game of Thrones, you know, the one who was like a wildling.
Like every Viking looks.
Yeah, massive ginger hair, massive ginger beard.
Big hat.
It's obviously an artist's impression, because there's no photos of Vikings. That's who we're related to.
It's my, I think, something like 32nd great-grandfather.
Yeah. Now, Betsy's put this into a Google Slides document, which she sent to a brand new teacher.
Yeah.
Her teacher's getting this thinking, well, this kid's a bull.
If we all go that far back on our family trees, we're all
related to Caesar.
knights or
If Danny Dyer,
Vikings, whatever.
If Danny Dyer is related to the royal family, then I'm related to...
Well, what was funny, the 34th great-grandfather or whatever it was, his grandchild, who was the first one actually to be in the UK, he lived in some massive castle thing.
Yeah.
So why aren't I living in a castle?
I wish you were.
Yeah.
You did some booking yesterday, which leads on from what we're talking about now, which is why I'm bringing it up. You started your campaign for when we're free, because we're all currently isolating. This is why this is the Isolation Diaries. You started booking. Tell us what you've booked.
My favourite ever musical is in town. Hopefully at the end of the week we're going to get to see Blood Brothers, which I have wanted you all to see.
I'm actually dying to see it and hoping it lives up to expectations.
I really hope I'm not going to tell you anything, but
if it's somewhere between Phantom and Cats,
but it's nothing like
it
Phantom
better be
and
in
Cats.
between Phantom and
no,
Cats.
but it's nothing like them. This is what I'm worried about, because it's so different to any other musical you've ever seen. So I just hope it has the same effect on you, because I still get that every time I see it. I still have that.
I can't wait. So you booked Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
We'll report back on that, obviously.
And then, as you know, I'm a royal fan. I love the royals.
Yeah.
And I've never ever done Windsor Castle, and I don't think you have either. I've actually been in.
No, been to Windsor, but I never look at it from outside. But that's as far as the wallet would take me.
And so they've got a Prince Philip memorial display thing inside and stuff. So
I'm excited about that. But this is where your mum's coming with us. Out comes the genealogy bull again. You know, we're related to a gardener who used to live at Prince. What so-and-so?
I'm not related to the gardener. I'm related to
50-odd years.
Queen Liz.
No. Great-great-great-great-uncle. So I'm expecting a bit of that. She'll find another bit of family tree, another branch on the family tree.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like it.
And then you've done a booking which I would call middle-class staycation booking, because what middle-class people are doing now, the chavs are waiting for countries to become green list or amber list so they can fly off to Spain and have the chav holidays and the gut-busting English breakfast. But the middle classes, the ones who are doing wild swimming...
Oh, yeah. Wild swimming, paddleboarding.
Paddleboarding's in. They're going on local holidays. I'm not going to call them staycations because I hate it. They're going on local holidays and doing ecologically sound activities.
Yeah.
And you've booked what I think fits in right with the middle class.
Well, it's not probably something you or I would have booked. This is a grandparent thing. This is walking with alpacas.
Which sounds like a really book title written by somebody who's rediscovered themselves, doesn't it? Walking with alpacas.
Yeah. Look, Betsy's going to love it, and I think we'll enjoy it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I love an alpaca. So.
She caught me in a short mood yesterday, which I have occasionally on isolation. And she's like, and Betsy, by the way, is going through that phase of asking a question every 3 seconds.
Yeah. But why?
So I was in the middle of doing something and she's like, maybe a heightened conversation with you. And she's like, what's an alpaca? What's an alpaca? And I went, it's just a sheep with a long neck. So that's booked. Now, whenever I come to the UK, I start thinking about the things I can't get my hands on in the UAE, where we live, Dubai.
Yeah.
And it's normally very expensive. It's normally camera equipment, it's normally guitars, it's normally recording stuff.
Yes,
this time,
deliveries.
Yeah, and normally the Amazon's going like the clappers here.
Yeah.
All I've ordered this time, bought some scales, which are 30 dirhams or something, nothing. I started ordering some vinyl yesterday. I bought myself a little record bag to take them back. I'm going to be scouring the charity shops for classic vinyl.
Yeah, which I don't mind.
Which is good. But I ordered myself a few albums yesterday, which I can't get my hands on. I'd got them in me, what's it called, save for later basket. And I thought, I'm not ordering these, until I've had the chat with you. And I did say it a few times, I'll look at this, I'm ordering some vinyl. And then I sat and watched you.
No, you showed me the bag.
No, it was the basket, everything, Brenda. I sat and watched you order all this stuff yesterday. And what I didn't do, Normally,
Did you spike by?
I spike by. Normally what I do is I feel me arteries tightening up and I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack when you're spending that amount of money. And I just thought, you know what? I'm loving every day of this holiday, this trip.
I never spike by.
No, it's not a spike by. I thought what I've bought is probably a quarter of what you've spent. So I'm gonna get them for myself.
As you heard from when I told you the total, it was actually quite reasonable.
Yeah. So I did my first proper bit of shopping yesterday. Looking forward to that coming.
From now on, can you
consult?
Can we have a bit of a discussion before pressing buy now?
Perhaps and perhaps not. But I am excited to get into the charity shops. And I want to tell you when I did the click. I did the click in the manky cactus bath. Now, if you've listened to the last couple of isolation recordings, you'll know that to save water, Dennis, the menace, your dad, siphons the bathwater onto his plants to save his septic tank getting full, which is fine by me. And the other day you had a bath, you and Betsy got in, but it was a very quick bath. I got in straight after. The water was clear. I got in yesterday, it looked like you'd been washing a car engine in there.
Well,
and not only that,
I don't understand this, right?
You'd had a little shavies.
No.
You had a shave.
No. Look, if I know someone else is getting in the bath, I'm not going to have...
Laura, I gave you the razor. And
all I did was my pits. All I did was my pits, right?
That's still spikes.
No, nothing comes hardly off my pits because I do them once a day, whatever. But it wasn't like I did the full bikini line and leg shave.
No, not with Betsy in the bath as well, though.
No. We got our phone calls yesterday.
Oh, yes. Now, who is it who calls you? It's like an NHS...
It's the Track and Trace,
NHS Track and Trace. I got the first one. It was like a robot. Hello, can I speak to Mr. Smedley, please? I am going to give you some questions. I'm going to give you some
I've heard a few people say that they actually have even asked the question, am I speaking to a human?
So day 2, which is when we should have had the PCR test, but obviously we'd had it.
Day 0, yeah.
I get the first call. I think I said yes 4 times.
Yeah.
Gave me date of birth. And then said, we're doing express test.
So, they do a script.
That was it.
Yep.
20 minutes later,
Ring. No, Leo.
Leo first.
Yep.
20 minutes after that, you.
Yeah, well, I had a guy that went off script.
He did go off scripts.
Yeah, first of all, he said, do you want me to continue in English or Scottish?
Is that a joke?
Yeah, with a little joke of his straight away. So then he's giggling and I'm giggling before we've even started. Then...
I got none of this.
Yeah, then he's like, oh, you're very young, madam, like that, and me. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel it, having that banter.
What a knobhead, cracking on.
Yeah.
Cracking on to my wife during an official call.
And then he's like...
Do you think that because he knows you're in isolation, he thinks you need a bit of titillation?
I don't know, but he was proper giving it the full old flirt.
That'll be today's title, Isolation Titillation.
Isolation Titillation. Yeah, then he was like, if you go out, you've got to be wearing a mask. And I was like, oh, you don't need to tell me. We've had COVID. We know what it feels like, blah, blah. And he's like, have you? When? Oh, how are you doing? He's like, oh, gosh. He's giving it full on. No script with me.
I mean, he's got a lot of these calls to make. He's wasting valuable time there.
Well, I did wonder. I thought, do they get into trouble? I bet they've got a timer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun.
So we all had the calls.
It was a bit of fun for me. I enjoyed it.
And it was nice to get the calls. I think if we'd have stayed in for 10 days and got no calls...
Which has happened to some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, people have said you actually want the call to know that...
It's nice to feel wanted.
Yeah.
I played Scrabble yesterday. Sometimes this isolation feels a bit like a caravan holiday. And what I'm doing is sitting in...
There's been a murder. I can't do it.
There's been a murder.
There's been a murder.
Sat in the conservatory yesterday and Dennis has got out... So nice of him, this. He's put out a big table and he's filled it with games, with art equipment, with Legos, brand new Legos, by the way, my favourite. He's just laid it all out for us to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the Scrabble out yesterday. I thought I'll teach Betsy how to play Scrabble because she's a clever little kid. She's never played it before.
You're a good wordsman, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is it Wordsmith?
Wordsworth, yeah, I'm a good Wordsworth. Leo comes by, I said, do you want a game? So he sits down. Betsy put 2 words down and just kind of went, nope, not having it, it's boring.
Yeah, well,
she was a bit off yesterday.
It's probably a bit of Scrabble. It's probably feeling a bit like another lesson.
Yeah. However, Leo had his first ever game and I think he quite liked it. We're going to have a rematch today.
But the thing is, playing you, no one's ever going to beat you at Scrabble.
But what I said to Leo yesterday, because I didn't want him to be disheartened, is it's not about winning, it's about learning how to play the game. My dad, he used to work for Sheffield Council and he was a civil engineer, and whenever it rained, him and his crew would be in the prefab
the Scrabble
playing Scrabble.
Posse.
I reckon my dad is World Championships quality. He's an absolute tool belt to play against because he knows all the 2-letter words with the X's and the J's and stuff.
All right, so there's a bit more to it than just being good at long words.
Long words don't get you the points.
Really?
Short combos get you the points.
Oh, well, I've got a lot to learn in Scrabble then.
I had to hire another car yesterday because we're assuming we're going to pass the day 5 test.
I don't know if I don't want to tempt fate there.
No, but we've done that. So I had to do a car IAC, so I'm gonna be Johnny 2 Jags, not Jags, a Corsa and an Octavia.
Yeah, I was going to say you're starting small and then getting bigger.
Now yesterday while I was sat in garden, chatting away to your mum, a biplane flies over, which is an old-fashioned aeroplane with 2 wings.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the impression again. It sounds nothing like your mum, but I'm going to do it. I'm like, look at that gay.
She stood behind you.
When I say look at that gay, I don't mean that's a gay bloke flying the aeroplane. Her name's Gay. So I said, look at that gay. And she said, that'll be the Bournemouth Air Show.
Air Show, yeah, it is.
I'm doing Pam Ayres every time I do it.
You're doing more Bristol.
Anyhow, then the plane crashed into the sea and it was the wing walker plane.
Oh my gosh.
I can say now that everyone's out of hospital. The pilot
The wind walker survived.
The pilot and the wind walker survived. They nearly hit people on the beach, went into the sea. Everybody survived. But it was the plane that we saw fly over because we're not that far from Bournemouth.
Are you sure?
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Read in the news this morning.
Wow.
Then while I was sat in the garden, this is good, you came out and we started having a conversation about being vegetarians.
Right.
And we were talking about being vegetarians and your mum started talking about eggs. And she said, well, I don't understand why eggs are vegan because, you know, the hens lay the eggs, but you don't need a cock. And I'm sat there, I look at you because I'm like, first of all, I would never miss that opportunity, right? And I look at you and you just do nothing, don't react. And then she goes, yeah, I totally don't understand it. I mean, the hen can lay the egg without a cock. You don't need a cock. I mean, you don't need a cock, Laura. And I'm thinking, somebody's got to say something. And then it became a challenge for me not to laugh. Because I'm a laugher, as you know. But I managed not to laugh. But I would never describe a male chicken as a cock.
Cock.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be using it all the time from now on.
Most people do need a cock, don't they? So, yeah.
Every time I see somebody eating eggs now, I'm just going to point and go, no cock required.
I'm not 100% on this whole no cock required thing. I need to Google cocks.
We watched another 9 Perfect Strangers last night. We watched the latest episode 5, and we watched it upstairs. And you asked Leo to come in and watch it with us because he's watched the first 4. And he got weird teenager, didn't he? Because he's like, I'll sit on the floor. And we're like, it's a double bed, just get on the bed.
Yeah.
And he started acting all weird and sitting, and he's sitting up and you're like, just lay down.
We were all fully clothed, aren't we? Yeah.
And then I had to remind him that as a kid, he used to be a regular naked rambler. He used to naked ramble into our room regularly. Yeah,
with nightmares. 7. Yeah. But only about 7, he was like...
He had nightmares. I woke up and stood next to me.
With his cock.
An acorn in my face. Anyhow, so 9 Perfect Strangers were fabulous. Awkward bed moment. We also had another visitor in the bedroom.
Oh, yes. Incy Wincy.
How big was that spider?
He was a big one, yeah. And I'm not bothered about spiders, and you're not particularly bothered.
Not really. But not the ones here, because I know they're harmless.
Yeah, they are. But
he was a big boy.
But they are bigger here, aren't they? They're. But he was
his
pure.
Body.
Well,
what would you say? His body was as big as a Malteser.
No, bigger.
Slightly bigger than a Malteser.
Yeah, 2p. A 2p.
He weren't a 2p.
Yeah, he was.
Dickhead.
And I tell you what, no, he was, and he had fairy legs.
And we managed to stay in the room.
Oh yeah. When the geckos are in the room, I have to get them out, and I don't mind geckos, but I don't know what it is about spiders. They don't bother me. Geckos.
I've got no hump today. For yesterday, I think we had a really nice day yesterday. It was a no argument day. We didn't argue all day yesterday, and I'm not saying that like we argue all the time, but I just want to, because we'd had an argument the day before.
Well, you call it an argument, just you being...
I mean, you saying that just proves what an argumentative little you are.
Grumpy, I think.
No argument day yesterday.
No.
Take the compliment where it is. So I've got no hump. There's no argument.
Good.
Now here's a would you rather.
Go on.
You've not told me any old Cal shot stories in the last 24 hours, which I told you I love. But here's your would you rather. Would you rather introduce me to your old friends or meet my old friends?
Meet yours.
Why? Because you're not proud of me?
No.
Or because you think you measure up to me exes?
It's a hard one because I always feel like we've moved on so much. Like I keep in touch with some of my old friends, but it would be, I don't know, it'd just be a bit weird because we live such a different life. You know what I mean? And
of course we do.
they all still live here. All my friends still live here. They still go out with each other. Their kids are playing with each other's kids. You know, it's So I don't feel like I fit. I'd feel less uncomfortable meeting your friends than I would actually seeing my friends again.
I think you like my friends.
Like you? I think you'd go for the same way as well. I think you'd rather introduce...
Probably.
Because you don't like meeting new people.
Yeah, it's probably be nicer to spend time around my friends rather than the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Very awkward around people.
You hide it well.
Yeah, well, I'm dying inside, tears of a clown.
Yeah.
Right, that'll do for today. So that is Isolation Diaries, Day 2, wrapped up. Thanks to our cast today, the birds, the bees, the aeroplanes, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
The end.